INFJs and Sigma INFJs differ in far more nuanced and intricate ways than most people realize. INFJs are created, whereas Sigma INFJs are born. Since INFJs are more likely to exhibit their innate personality features, but the Sigma has more of their acquired and evolved features after traveling the globe. The INFJ is born, but the Sigma INFJ is made, for the following 10 reasons. Number 10. The INFJ has empathy for everyone, but they only pay attention to people who are worth their time. Because INFJs are inherently kind, generous, and sympathetic, they frequently allow strangers to seek solace from them. They listen without passing judgment to anyone's issues or feelings, because they are aware of what it is like to struggle alone and lack support. With regard to coping with their own troubles and having compassion for those unable to confront them, they have a great heart for everyone. However, they will learn the unavoidable truth regardless of whether the Sigma nature wakes, that not everyone deserves their goodwill. They are liable for guarding their sanity and peace from anyone who could abuse it, so it's not that they think too highly of themselves in the moment. After enduring psychological abuse and trauma, INFJs can finally understand that the world is not always a kind and nice place. This event makes them realize how precious their time and energy are, and that they should only give them to those who have good intentions. Number 9. Despite being inherently emotional, INFJs tend to keep their feelings to themselves. INFJs, on the other hand, are glad when others are happy and sad when their loved ones are upset. That will become more reasonable due to their Sigma nature. The Sigma awakening aids INFJs in deciding to whom to grant emotional access. Therefore, the Sigma INFJ has learned to never give anyone, not even close ones, permission to influence their feelings. Any emotional experience that doesn't help them won't be tolerated. They are thus the group least likely to engage in codependent or abusive relationships. They are the last to fall prey to manipulation and gaslighting. Nobody has the power to make people unhappy, pleased, excited, scared, or miserable. This is an example of how reserved Sigma INFJs can act. They simply want to be better at relationships by protecting their sanity and mental health from anyone who wants to wreck them. It's not that they're cynical or loveless. They can have a beneficial ripple impact on their relationships and life if they guard their peace and take care of themselves. Does this imply that the Sigma INFJ is still unaffected by needless stress? Number 8. The INFJ is a complete dreamer, and they know when and how to give up. The issue about INFJs is that they frequently go above and above to achieve their objectives and pursue their virtually unattainable ideals. Despite all the reasons to quit up, they will consistently connect their activities, behaviors, and decisions with their final goal. They will nevertheless come to understand that not every ambition is worthwhile when their Sigma aspect matures. Some of their heart's wishes won't be as helpful as they initially imagined. Some will merely sap their strength and bring them to a dead end. And they don't have to push through those heavy obstacles by willpower. Their Sigma selves instruct them to give up when it's necessary. It teaches students that giving up isn't necessarily a losing strategy because there are instances when changing course and refocusing on more important objectives is the best practical course of action. From there, they would be shocked to learn that giving up on their earlier aspirations was the best job choice they have ever made. They wouldn't have found true fulfillment if they hadn't been brave, wise, and modest enough to let go of possibilities that didn't seem right for them anymore. Number 7. INFJs take care not to upset others, whereas Sigma INFJs don't give a damn. INFJs are brutally honest, but they nonetheless take care not to upset others. They try to be as diplomatic as possible by using the appropriate language. Despite this, they don't avoid people. Their conscience simply cannot tolerate witnessing someone being wounded by their harsh comments. They don't want to crush someone's self-esteem with just one piece of honest criticism. However, their Sigma self wakes them up and prods them to act when they realize how some people's confidence is based on conceit, self-righteousness, and misconceptions. This explains why Sigma INFJs speak up more frequently than other INFJs. Because being honest is their obligation and because people's responses to it are not. They won't care if they offend anyone. They don't think it's their responsibility to soften their criticism in order to protect someone's delicate ego. Therefore, they will voice their minds without hesitation and let others form their own opinions. Does this imply that, as a Sigma INFJ, you have no sympathy for haughty and boastful people? Number 6. The Sigma INFJ leaves the atmosphere up to others, whereas the INFJ seeks to make people feel at ease around them. It is clear that some people would find the INFJ to be unsettling due to their complicated and distinctive attitudes. They are aware that some people are hesitant to open up and communicate with them, due of their overwhelming depths, which make them feel intimidated. This is why they made an effort to make others feel at ease by making jokes and downplaying their intelligence. In other words, they simplify themselves to appear more relatable and understandable. Sigma INFJs, on the other hand, have no interest in doing it. They dislike changing to other people's preferences in order to participate in a conversation or make others feel at ease. They think that the discomfort and the mood are indicators that their energies don't mesh with the other person. It serves no purpose to attempt to build a relationship with someone if your energies, priorities, interests, and attitudes are at odds with theirs, because chaos could result from that. Number 5. Because of their adaptability, INFJs can fit into any group. Sigma INFJs only draw people who share their interests. The fact that INFJs still have and apply one of their most valuable social abilities, flexibility, is another factor influencing whether someone is an INFJ or a Sigma INFJ. They employ this talent to mingle with people and appear amiable. However, once they develop their Sigma personality, they will understand that they are not need to blend in or be likable. Don't get me wrong, Sigma INFJs are flexible as well, but they rarely use it. They will nonetheless draw the social circle they deserve. People who share their views, values, and viewpoints will naturally gravitate toward them if they behave in accordance with who they genuinely are, so long as they maintain their integrity and moral principles. They will eventually develop a social circle of people who can relate to them. This is how they draw in like-minded people and love talking to them. Does this imply that Sigma INFJs will never attempt to fit in with others whose attitudes are at odds with their own? Number 4. The Sigma INFJ does not share the INFJ's view that there is good in everyone. Because of their intrinsic empathy, INFJs tend to see the best in people, but Sigma INFJs don't. Sigma INFJs think it's not their responsibility to presume the best in someone when all they display is their flaws. Since it is not their life, it is not their responsibility to force individuals to display the attitude they are unwilling to. Because of this, Sigma INFJs tend to base their impressions on what others present to them rather than what they can actually be. Without demonstrating or doing it, no one will know who someone is or what they are capable of. Simply put, Sigma INFJs are unable to stop themselves from repairing poisonous individuals and relationships. Number 3. The naturally unselfish INFJ and the Sigma INFJ know when to put oneself first. For Sigma INFJs, putting their own needs and wants first is not being selfish. Doing so merely suggests that they wish to improve and be happier as individuals so that they can have a beneficial influence on their surroundings and interpersonal connections. Before they can grow and evolve into their best selves and care for others the way they cared for themselves, they want to heal themselves first. INFJs, on the other hand, naturally give in to their empathic, altruistic side, which leads them to put the needs of others ahead of their own. INFJs who haven't developed and actualized their Sigma selves are hence more vulnerable to toxic relationships and gaslighting. Despite this, it is also in their propensity to work hard and advance in enforcing their boundaries, boosting their general outlook in themselves. Do Sigma INFJs have more rigid boundaries than other INFJs, then? Number 2. Sigma INFJs won't volunteer right away, unlike the INFJ. INFJs are naturally helpful and won't wait for someone to ask them for a favor. If they are confident in their capacity to follow through, they will offer their help right away. They are useful in any industry or community because of this. Sigma INFJs, on the other hand, are distinct from that. They typically won't volunteer if no one asks them to, but that doesn't mean they are unhelpful or lazy. They simply won't put effort into anything that isn't urgently required. If not, they will be willing to assist. They just don't have the time to volunteer for things that don't need immediate attention because they have much more important things to take care of. Number 1. Second chances can be given by the INFJ but not by the Sigma. Yet again, do not misunderstand, this does not imply that Sigma INFJs are conceited and unforgiving. It's just that kids judge individuals by the behaviors they exhibit. If someone is unpleasant, they are rude, they don't need an explanation or a defense. This is why they find it difficult to forgive someone who betrays, lies, cheats, and treats them badly. People's actions reveal a lot about who they are if they exhibit certain characteristics. They can therefore make those errors. And while INFJs are willing to forgive those who have wronged them, Sigma INFJs simply won't because they are sick of it. They may be able to forgive, but they won't give those folks any more time. Does this imply, therefore, that Sigma INFJs are less considerate than other people? Once the INFJ unleashes their Sigma nature, they will undoubtedly discover a lot about themselves and the world they live in. But everything worthwhile takes time. You're an INFJ, right? Or an INFJ Sigma? How do you believe an INFJ can unleash their Sigma nature?